On February 15th, just one day after the Parkland school shooting, police in Fairhaven, Vermont arrested 18-year-old Jack Sawyer for plotting to shoot up his old high school.
That's what happened 2 years ago. It was like I was going to shoot up the school, then I went to treatment. But throughout the entire time of treatment, I've still been thinking about it, so it's just been postponed. Like, they don't understand that I'm patient. Like, I can wait.
Right. It will happen.
Not necessarily. Like, unless, like, something in my head changed. Like,
as we sit here today,
yeah,
it will happen at some point.
Yeah.
Is that
I
what
don't
you're telling me?
necessarily want to say that because
Right.
it doesn't look good on my part.
Sawyer kept a journal describing in detail how he planned to kill as many people as possible. He bought a shotgun legally and also tried but failed to buy a handgun on the dark web. Sawyer was charged with attempted murder, but his actions didn't meet Vermont's unusually high bar for proving attempt. And in late April, the state Supreme Court forced prosecutors to drop the most serious charges. Sawyer pled not guilty to the rest. That meant he could get out on bail, and that sent Fairhaven into a panic. The day before Sawyer's release, we met with school administrators who had just spent more than $100,000 on new security measures.
One example is this wall actually used to be a glass wall, so we, installed sheetrock.
What's the idea behind that?
That it's not glass and you can't, if something's occurring in the classroom next door, you can't readily see into this classroom.
Because of this, you do active shooter drills. I mean, that's the climate across the nation now. Even just doing the drills added an element of anxiety to everyone, but now it makes it that much more real.
How did the students and the staff feel knowing that Jack Sawyer might be released?
I think folks felt like it was a kick in the stomach, to be quite honest. And I think the overwhelming feeling is that the system has failed us.
Within weeks of Sawyer's arrest, Vermont's Democratic legislature and Republican governor agreed to tighten gun laws. Then, Senator Dick Sears went much further. He introduced a bill that defines any act or attempted act of violence against more than one person as domestic terrorism, even if, like Sawyer's planned shooting, it has no ideological motive.
So how do we work together on H-25 to get a bill on domestic terrorism?
Some people wonder if we should change the title.
Domestic terrorism?
To mass attack, but I think at this point...
There's just no question that they've been terrorized by this, even though nothing, at this point has come of it.
I think in the conventional definition, at least that a lot of people subscribe to, terrorism implies some kind of ideological or political motive. Mm-hmm. But your bill doesn't mention that.
No, it's not. It's if you're inflicting terror, making people feel afraid, when students tell me that they, feel like they're sitting ducks in their classroom, that's a form of terror. It doesn't necessarily have to be because of some political bent.
Vermont is far from the only state scrambling to address the problem of senseless mass shootings. But if Sears's bill passes, it'll be the only one that legally defines such shootings, or even someone's plans for them, as domestic terrorism. That may solve the Jack Sawyer problem, but it creates new ones. Vermont's bill isn't limited to school shootings. It applies to anyone who causes or tries to cause death or serious bodily injury to multiple people. That gives law enforcement huge discretion to decide who to use the law against.
Thank you for inviting me to testify.
Michael German, who spent 16 years in the FBI infiltrating neo-Nazis and other far-right armed groups, says giving law enforcement such broad power means they're likely to use it excessively against people they're already inclined to find suspicious, beginning with Muslim Americans and other minorities.
I think it confuses the issue totally. It's just the wrong way of looking at this problem, where really what we need to do is take these divisive and ill-defined terms like terrorism and put those exclusively in the political arena.
So the discussion that happens every time there's a shooting or some other kind of violent event around, is this terrorism or not, is a discussion that belongs in the realm of rhetoric and politics. But when it enters the realm of
criminal law,
that's where things get dicey.
Right,
Is that what
exactly.
you're saying? Yeah.
Absolutely. I know from my law enforcement experience, police tend to be pretty suspicious of a lot of different people. And if they can put people in as sort of pre-crime enforcers, we can get into a very dangerous space very quickly. And the last thing you would want to do is take one horrible case and pass a broad law that creates more horrible problems in the future.
The domestic terrorism bill in Vermont flew through the state Senate with unanimous approval. Now both houses of the legislature are working on amendments, after which it'll go to the governor's desk. Even though the bill couldn't keep Sawyer himself in jail, the notion that it could help put away any potential attackers in the future is enough for the school to support it.
The efforts to change the law to address this problem, do you ever worry that they could go too far and make it too easy for the authorities to lock someone up just for talking about doing something?
Selfishly, I haven't gone there. I'm like looking at this immediate concern that we have right now. Everybody is recognizing, hey, we have an issue here.
And I think that's what we've thought about 24/7 since February 14th.